vaccines you need. Book in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Surprise! Your expenses this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. The Jefferson County Jail is facing legal action after the death of a detainee. Crystal Zinselmeyer has filed a federal lawsuit alleging her father, William Zinselmeyer, was denied his diabetic medication and hadn't taken it in 4 days, resulting in his death 3 years ago. The lawsuit also contends that a guard reportedly said, if he wants his meds, he can get up and come get it. An autopsy found that Zinselmeyer's cause of death was hypertensive cardiovascular disease with diabetes mellitus as a contributor. An Illinois state representative is speaking out about tax dollars going to projects in Chicago, while projects in downstate Illinois are being neglected. More from KTRS's Steve Potter.
Republican House Leader Tony McCombie says as the state heads into a new legislative session, the focus needs to be on public safety and job-creating infrastructure. She says that Illinois residents already pay a higher gas tax, while recent policy changes are diverting road funds away from critical projects in southern Illinois.
When dollars are swept away from our downstate roads and bridges to be sent to Chicago Transit, job growth in our area slows and the disinvestment hurts our local economy.
McCombie says protecting infrastructure funding will not only help local economies, but will also keep people working. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
Excitement is in the air with today's kickoff of the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in downtown St. Louis. Mayor Kara Spencer expressed her enthusiasm.
For anybody out there that is thinking about competing on a worldwide basis in any sport, to see the caliber of athletes that we have here in St. Louis right now is a tremendous opportunity for our community.
St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy said security measures will be in place throughout the event.
We will have people visible. We'll have people that are in the areas that they need to be. We'll have plainclothes police officers that'll be out here to make sure that we're watching things not just at a uniform presence, but outside of uniform presence.
The U.S. Figure Skating Championships are expected to bring more than 60,000 visitors to St. Louis. It kicks off tonight at Enterprise Center. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Illinois' unemployment rate remains stable. The Illinois Department of Employment Security reports that the unemployment rate was 4.4% in November, unchanged from September, and down 0.5 percentage points from the same month a year ago. There are no October unemployment rates for the Illinois or the nation, as labor force data for the month of October cannot be collected from households during the federal government shutdown. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. Wall Street right now, Dow Jones is down 160 points to 49,301. S&P 500 is up 9 to 6,953. NASDAQ up 116 to 23,656. KTRS Sports, the Blues take on the Blackhawks in Chicago this evening. The Note will be looking to make it 3 straight wins. Mizzou basketball looks to start 2-0 in the SEC when they travel to Lexington to play the Kentucky Wildcats tonight. Pre-game coverage starts at 5:30 right here on the Big 550. KTRS weather today: sunny, high of 62. Tonight, cloudy, overnight low of 45, and tomorrow, rain likely, high of 61. Right now, we have 47 degrees. I'm Sobe Bay. The time is 10:06. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the control option mindset featuring the lifetime and generational income maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
And now, the Frank and Jill Show. It's Frank Cusimano, Jill Farmer on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
Powered
Powered by STL Medical Weight Loss. See the Dr. Joe difference at stlmedweightloss.com.
Good morning and welcome. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Frank Cusimano, Jill Farmer, Connor McCarthy here till 12 o'clock. Got a really good program lined up for you today. Sarah Fensky is always instant offense. And you know what, Jill? I was walking out of the building last night and I noticed that St. Louis Magazine's headquarters are in the same building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the cool people on the cutting edge of reporting the news to us are hanging out there these days.
Yeah, I didn't get a fruit basket from Sarah when we moved in, but maybe there's still time.
Yeah. Well, you scooped her on the big. We broke the news about first anywhere in St. Louis media about Mike Bush deciding to retire, and so maybe she's still mad that she didn't get the inside scoop because she seems to be scooping Channel 5 on a lot of internal stuff. Yeah.
I wonder if it's like a newspaper where, like at the Post-Dispatch, nobody ever showed up in the building. I wonder if Sarah's there every day. I mean, she is the executive editor. Maybe she does, or do they not show up at all either?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
We should have that for her in just about 30 minutes. She will be able to tell us the secret. Or she might, with her security detail and some of your past history, she might not want to give those details out.
By the way, it's like the CIA. I mean, I have to pull out my card to get into every door. If I want to walk to the restroom, I need a thing. If I want to walk outside the building, I have to use it like 4 times to get in.
So as excited as you were about the tangerine water and free coffee, there's been a couple of bumps in the road in the last week.
Gosh. Yes, as people out there can attest that are watching. And then Tariq Khan is going to join us. Speaking of Channel 5 employees, he's our assignment editor, but most importantly for us, he is one of the great movie historians of all time. Back to the feature segment every other Wednesday. Today, Taxi Driver. Wow. You watched it?
I did. I tried to get in for an additional therapy session with my therapist after that. It was a little dark. It is strange, though. Like some of the themes, I'm thinking, gosh, 50 years later, we're still talking about disturbed young men in there. Yeah. He was the original incel in some ways, this character in Taxi Driver, played by Robert De Niro. But it was really, really... I can see why it was a classic movie. I can see why it was groundbreaking, even if it wasn't the most enjoyable cinema I have ever taken in.
And as great as it's revered by almost everybody, when it came out, Siskel gave it a thumbs down, which is wild. I mean...
And it had to work pretty hard, I guess, initially in some of the research to not get a rating of X, just because there was some pretty disturbing stuff in there. Yeah. Something else.
It was dark. I mean, the first thing I think I told you, I texted Tariq after I watched it. I said, boy, this is really redeeming. And then he tried to rationalize, well, he did save a young girl's life, change the direction of her life. So,
well, he's to your point, a true movie historian and sort of understands how groundbreaking movies can change the face of cinema. And I think that's why he's trying to make our taste and depth of knowledge a little deeper, since both of us are a little shallow when it comes to movie preferences.
And not entirely related, but some. I thought Connor brought up a cool point the other day that the hero of movies doesn't necessarily have to be a good guy.
Yeah. I don't feel the need for that to be the case. I know some people do. Well, I know Lynn Venhouse, who's on, does feel that way. But I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I think that's a mature approach.
Yeah, and I think it's there's two differences in the world, at least at this stage in life. For me, there's really good movies who I really appreciate. Good being the category of well-made. Breaking ground, make you think, the cinematography is meaningful, and there's movies that I just really enjoy for entertainment purposes, and those two things are not always one and the same for me. But, I think that's...
Have you seen Marty Supreme yet, Frank?
I have
not gotten a chance.
It's going to be tough with all this good football on hand. I was thinking this the other day that... I asked Monique about, let's go down to the figure skating championships. Because, boy, once you're there at practice, you think, oh, my goodness, how talented are I watched the women yesterday. The men were practicing when I was editing. But it's just so amazing. But then I realized if I'm there, I'm going to miss out on the greatest football stretch I can remember. Thursday, Friday, college, and then the pro football playoffs. Oh, my God.
But we live in such a different world, right? Because when we went to the Blues game the couple days after Christmas this year, looking around, I saw, I don't know, 1 in every 5 people around me was watching another sporting event on their phone.
1 in 5.
The Mizzou bowl game was on, so I was presuming that's why a lot of people were watching it. But
I wonder how
noticed
common that is.
I noticed it at the baseball game this summer too. Real sports aficionados seem to be, watching something else on their phone while they were at a sporting event. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I can see it if you're at something that you're like, I'm missing the sporting event because I'm at, I don't know, a concert or something. But it was an interesting phenomenon I noticed.
I also found something kind of interesting yesterday is I talked to the ice guy because I was curious about what they do differently with hockey. And it's normally about...
Between figure skating and hockey.
Yeah, and they actually put a slab of ice over the Blues ice. But what I thought was really cool was it's normally 22 degrees for the Blues ice. For the figure skating, it's 26. And people think, that doesn't seem like much. No, it is. It makes it softer and better on landings and stuff. So, I mean, what a scientist this guy is. He's really special.
Yeah, and the speed that they build up to get the momentum to do those jumps, it's really, really good. Yeah, you've had some good coverage. You guys have had some good coverage on this, which is a big deal for St. Louis, and I hope a lot of people are going to go out and watch figure skating. I'm, in unpopular opinion, before we wrap up and go to commercial, at least in this room, I'm really tired of football. I mean, seriously, with all of the playoffs and I guess maybe it's because the Chiefs are out. They're the only pro team I really care that much about. I like the Lions too. I mean, I don't have kind of watching the Bears a little bit. The college football stuff just seems crazy to me. We're in national playoffs, but yet players are part of free agency, so they're not actually playing for their teams. I mean, the whole thing just feels... I'm just kind of sick of it, but I know you guys aren't, but I definitely am.
Yeah, I couldn't be more interested. So, all right, let's take a short time out. When we come back, we will have the opening dialogue on the Frank and Jill Show. The Royal Banks of Missouri text line is open, 84126. And if you have a screen, you can watch us on YouTube. We'll be right back.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
You've had all these great ideas about what to do with your outside space. Now's the time to take the next step and call Outdoor Living, because Pat Leahy and the gang at Outdoor Living have built a showroom which is a great resource for you. You can go in and see all the products they have, the composite decking, the metal framing. You see, at Outdoor Living, what they pride themselves on is building it right the first time and never having to worry about it again. So they build it. You can enjoy it for the rest of your life. Outdoor Living, their showroom on Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, is a great resource for you. You can go and see all the different ways and all the different things they can do. Then they'll come out, they'll do a site visit, and in just a few short weeks, you will have the dream deck, fence, gazebo, pergola, whatever it may be. Outdoor Living, right there in Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. 314-966-3325 or OutdoorLivingInc.com. Check out the showroom and take that next step. You'll love it. Outdoor Living, or OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Way back in time, if you had a leak in the roof of your hut, I imagine you had to find a tree close by, scale it, and then jump and hope you could get up there and see what was wrong. Then came the advent of the ladder. There was an easier way to get up there and see if something was wrong. And with modern technology, we finally get around to the drone. Now, the folks at Allen Roofing use those instead of trees and ladders. Send a drone up, find out if there's anything wrong with your roof, get some pictures, go over it with you, and see if there's a problem, how bad it is, what they could do, what it'll cost. Or if everything's just fine, they will tell you that too. Boy, it's so nice we don't have to climb trees to look at our hut. Allen Roofing, embracing technology and doing quality roof repair, siding, gutters, everything for the outside of your home. Just ask Gronk. He was one of the first customers. It's Allen Roofing. Find them online at aroofing.net.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at SimplySecureDentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or SimplySecureDentures.com.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, thought one. At the figure skating championship practices yesterday and spent some time with a young lady named Alyssa Liu, who may be the most talented female figure skater in the world as we speak. She was the 2025 world champion. Really a fascinating career. She won the nationals at age 13. Imagine your skill level in anything at age 13. But that was not an Olympic year. She later qualified for the Olympics at 16 and finished 6th. And also when she was 16, she just quit. She did not put on skates for 2 years. I don't know of many athletes who just quit what they're doing at 16 or at any time of their career and then come back 2 years later and are equally as great. And they quit on their own volition. She loved the skating. She didn't like the process, the incredible hours you have to put in, the dedication, the things you have to give up. Is that being lazy? No, I think it's more like being a deep thinker and wise beyond your years to think there's got to be more to life than all this regimen I have to do every day for hours and hours and give up what other kids get to do. What turned her around? Well, she went snow skiing one day. It was a trip, and she got that high again of going fast and being skilled. She got good really quickly at it. And then she basically said, I'm coming back. I'll tell you what, it's a cool story of a girl that wanted a little other things in life and then went back to her love. And now she could be headed to Milan if she performs well in St. Louis this week.
It's going to be really compelling on the women's side because there's four
great ones,
really
and
great ones, and only 3 spots.
Yeah.
Does one get to go as a
No.
as a substitute? No, they don't do that.
Yeah, the interesting thing is to show you that she's got a lot of other interest in her life. She said, the only thing, if I go to Milan, I'm going to miss a great concert in the Bay Area that month of the Olympics. And I really wanted to go to the concert. Can you imagine like trying to, that concert would be really a lot of fun. Maybe I won't go to the Olympics.
Yeah, there's some perspective there on what matters in life. So I, like pretty much every other city resident, have had to buck up. If you want to recycle, we no longer have the convenience of going back into the alley or to the recycling container that's right next to most of our houses or not far away and putting stuff in recycling. City said it's costing us too much money, and so if you want to recycle, you have to go to a designated recycle area, which means keeping it yourself at your house, piling up in the back of your car, and taking it to the recycling center. Turns out I've been asking around a lot of friends, and I'm curious, on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126, are they still doing curbside recycling where you live? And if so, do you have to pay a lot more for it? The real news behind this, though, is one that we haven't wanted to talk about as a country, and I'm hearing from folks I know who are in the waste management business. We're going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to even pretend that we're recycling plastic anymore. That it makes us all feel good, right? Because we all have a lot of plastic bottles, whether it's the convenience of the plastic water bottles or the soda that you grab or whatever it is. Less than 6%. I just looked it up when one of my friends in the know told me that we're all probably in the cusp of the next year or two not recycling plastic. Less than 6% of plastic waste in the United States is actually recycled.
So you have to pay extra for recycling?
We don't have to pay extra in the city now. It's just no longer there's no longer recycling that's picked up from our homes. You have to drive it somewhere to a centralized recycling area.
How
For
far
me,
away?
it's about a mile away. It's a school, but I didn't used to have to pile it up, collect it, flatten out the boxes, put them in the back of my car and take them. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I still think it's a good thing to do, but I recycle a lot of plastic. I mean, the salad containers that I get, all those things. And so I found it pretty disheartening that most of it is not actually getting recycled. China stopped buying it a long time ago. It's a very inefficient process to recycle plastic. So most of it is just getting thrown away in the trash, even though we're going through all the motions of pretending that we're recycling, which I don't like that. I'm like, I'd rather just tell us you're recycling it. Or don't recycle it, and then maybe we can all do a better job of trying to replace the unrecyclable plastic with something that can actually be recycled.
Good point. I was not aware of that. All right, let's see. Thought 2. So the alarm in our bedroom now goes off at 6 a.m. every day. Mm-hmm. I know that doesn't seem too early to some, but if you go to bed around 1, it's a little bit early. The reason, and not mine, is pickleball. Monique has found a new group who wants to go early. I said, there's 24 hours in a day. You can play without the alarm going off so early. She said, I am aware, and I choose not to. So I have to suffer, and I sleep, like lighter than a feather. I mean, she could sleep if I was Wang Chunging it with 3 exotic dancers in our bedroom. She could sleep through it all. But if she moves us like a hair, I know she's up, and boy, I'm up too at 6. Anyway, the question is what activity do you have in your life that does affect your sleep, but you don't care? That, it's so much fun. You enjoy it so much. I don't care. I'm going to get up really early because I get to do this. I mean, there's the story about the undersexed husband who loves golf and his wife, doesn't like either, sex or the golf. So he says to her, honey, tomorrow morning we're either going to have sex or I'm playing golf. I'll let you make the choice. And she says, don't forget to pack your sweater. So what's the activity for you that the alarm will go off and you don't care because you're going to do something you love? I don't even want to get up at 6 a.m. to play golf, actually.
Can you go back to sleep?
No.
Oh, that's not enough sleep. Can she do like an Apple Watch that quietly wakes her up so it doesn't, or is that still going to wake you up?
Boy, if I hear a peep.
Yeah.
I think waking up Frank is part of it.
Yeah,
I think there's a certain appeal.
Trying to get you to retire early.
That's right. So what would be the activity, though, for either of you that, it's really early, but I don't care. I'm going to get to do this.
Travel for me.
Okay.
That's about the only time I'll set my alarm for 3 a.m. if I can get someplace and travel. I get to go someplace cool. I don't love those 5 a.m. flights or 6 a.m. flights, but sometimes the price is so much better or it's the only way I can get to where I'm going. And so that's about the only time I can say. I don't like being short on sleep in general. It makes me grumpy. You're like, are you short on sleep a lot then, Jill? But I definitely like to get my night's sleep. But travel is the first thing that comes to mind.
All right.
But I can't sleep in. I'm up at 6 most days anyway because I can't sleep in.
Connor, anything for you?
For me, I don't know. I really, really hate waking up really early. It's like my no. I don't know. I think I might be with you, Frank. I don't know if there's anything I'd get up at 5 a.m. for. And when I have to do it for to fill in with the McGraw show, it kills me. It kills me.
Not even like an NFL playoff game. No. Monique is protesting now, but okay. You're up.
A lot of people are texting in, but this one, get up early to fish or to tailgate. No problems. Those are both good. Very, very fun ones. I got to thinking when I saw this article in the Wall Street Journal this morning, when's the last time I've gone to a happy hour? It was a staple in my 20s. It's how I connected with friends from work or would get to know new people that we were meeting with from out of town. We would get together and go have a drink after work and some appetizers and connect to each other. John occasionally has work happy hours. I haven't been to a happy hour, I bet, in, 5 years. You probably never go because you're working still. But if you weren't working, do you ever get invited to a happy hour or do you ever go?
No.
Well, according to bars and restaurants, fewer people than ever are doing happy hour. It's just not the thing that it used to be, even in very social companies. Those who track things like this said it has to do with many people just aren't coming into the office, right? So you're not doing that thing after work. You're like, let's go grab a drink. Those who do want to get home by 6, business budgets are no longer I
so
never.
The boss is not picking up the tab.
Boss is never picking up the tab. Most people are drinking less, and then there's just people say that the younger generations have more work-life balance. So if in my 20s, if somebody who was like a boss or somebody I worked for said, let's go, I'll go eat happy hour, I was probably going to go because it was sort of an expected thing to be part of the. To be accepted. I'm really curious. Do you do happy hours very often? Do your friends do happy hours, Connor? Is it a thing still?
So the problem is like happy hours kind of go from like 4 to 6, so I'm usually kind of like working until around that point. So not that often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be like at Brio's, they used to have a late night kind of happy hour from like 10 to 12.
So you could do it after work.
And the scenery was pretty good. And I used to meet a bunch of coaches there on Friday nights after their games, and I would get off the air.
I haven't been there for a long time. Is it still? Do people still call it the Cougar Den? Because it tends to be where
I
older
haven't been
single
there
women
like
hang
15
out.
years.
Okay.
In fact, I was guilted out of it because one of Monique's friends saw me there. You know, that's not a good look, him being there. Shut up. I was there for the half-price appetizers. All right, thought 3, some quickies. One of the best Wednesday nights for sports on TV if you're home. SLU at VCU, biggest game of the year with a win against a good team on the road, which would put you at 14-1 and maybe ranked. Mizzou at Kentucky. Are the Tigers for real? Or was that an aberration against Florida? And the Blues, for the first time this season, have a chance for a 3-game win streak. They are in Chicago. Quick food recommendation. I can't believe I am actually saying this, but my favorite person in the world, not named Monique and the kids, is Jacob Kurth, producer, KSDK web guy, archivist. And I each one night a week, we get dinner. I let him choose it. I pick it up. And last night he says, let's do Subway. So we had the steak Philly protein bowl with double meat, everything on it, onions, cucumbers, tomatoes, black olives. Absolutely loved it. Finally, spent a week with Hank, Brooks' dog, the 50-pound golden doodle who's nothing but muscle and athleticism and sweetness. Slept in my bed with Reggie, Monique, and I. He is so awesome. I've begun negotiations to try to get a second dog just like Hank, but I think I'll fail.
How's it going?
Not too good.
These are some lengthy, ongoing negotiations.
Yeah. I just said, look at this face. And, you know, when you wake up and you turn to your left, he's like has his head right on the bed just staring at you.
In fairness to the negotiator who isn't here, if I remember the facts of the case, Your Honor, the other side of this negotiation just would like you to work less and not be such a workaholic. And you have been unwilling to bend on that side of the negotiation. Tell me where I'm wrong.
I think you bring up a good point.
Okay. And by the way, are you guys doing happy hour every night? And the Wall Street Journal is wrong on that trend. I'd love to hear from you guys on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Just a few randos for me to wrap up Thought 3 today. New season of The Morning Show on Apple TV. The last season, it's one of those shows that the last season was so fraught. Like there was no letdown in it. When you were watching it, there was just tension and everything was just kind of dark and heavy and intense. And so I wasn't sure I was going to come around for season 4, 2-year hiatus. They pick up where things left off. It's totally sucked me in after one episode. I mean, just Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, Billy Crudup. I never know how to say his last name. I haven't seen my guy John Hamm yet. He was really good in season 3.
Season? Okay.
Yeah, so he was in the kind of preview stuff. So I think there's going to be at least a partial role for him at some point, or maybe they were just teasing us and showing us stuff from the last season.
He may be too busy making commercials. Gosh, is he in like everything?
He's in like every other commercial.
Insane.
Yeah, and making other shows and doing good. Okay, so I think that's my first thought on that. Turns out, this is bad news for those of you that hate seeing people chomp their gum, but just came across this morning. National Geographic is telling us that chewing gum is actually somewhat good for our brains in terms of having a calming effect on us. The chewing gum companies for years have claimed that it's good for concentration and it help calm your mind, but there's no research to show that. Some new research says, yeah, that's actually a little bit true. People who are chewing gum tend to, their heart rate lowers a little bit, makes them a little bit calmer. Although if you're somebody who hates hearing somebody else chomp their chewing gum, that is definitely not good for our nervous systems because it can drive you absolutely crazy. Do you chew gum?
No, but it's an interesting thought. I may give it a shot now.
I do kind of if I had a meal that I think has left my breath questionable and I can't get out and brush my teeth, but I try not to chew it when I'm hanging out with other people too much. And then today's show reporting another story that was from a couple days ago in the Wall Street Journal, which I thought was interesting, which is people are ordering fewer home delivery pizzas than ever before.
Why is that?
Well, the biggest reason probably is because before COVID, right, we never ordered from our other restaurants. We couldn't order from other restaurants and have them delivered to our house. Now we can. If you wanted to be home and have somebody deliver hot food to your house, it just had to be pizza, right? Unless you lived in New York City. Most of the rest of us, if we were home on Friday night, we said, let's order a pizza, let's stay in and order a pizza. That was our only choice for ordered delivered food. Now there are other choices, and it's eaten into the pizza industries.
Yeah. Have you ever ordered something that's not pizza delivered to your house?
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much. We got a big gift certificate a few years ago when we're dealing with some health stuff, and a nice friend had delivered a gift certificate to Uber Eats. And then when I had my knee replaced, another friend gave us a gift certificate. I just have never found that the food that comes from those delivery services, DoorDash or Uber Eats, is hot enough for my taste.
Yeah. How much more expensive is it? I wonder.
A lot. And Connor's talked about this too. Most of the restaurants themselves have a price increase just to do it. So you pay a higher price to the restaurant itself, and then you pay the fees on top of it.
Right.
So it's not very economical. You're doing it for the convenience side of things, for sure.
All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, Sarah Fenske's going to join us, but you have a little bit of business?
I do. Our friends at Altair Travel and Cruises, Angie Markaway, who's a regular guest on McGraw's show, brought up a really good point. There was a lot of St. Louisans who were getting in that end of holiday trip somewhere Caribbean over the last week or so. And when airspace was shut down through most of the Caribbean because of the military action in Venezuela, guess what? People were stuck. And guess who was working nonstop around the clock? Anybody who was a client of Altair Travel and Cruises had personal concierge service on the ground in St. Louis with the best team ever, making sure that they could be rerouted, making sure that they could still make their cruise ships, doing all the things that would leave the rest of us standing flat-footed and out of luck, and often out of a lot of money because we didn't have somebody on our team who could work with us, who could reroute, who could pivot when this obstacle or plot twist was thrown into the mix. And if that's not a really good reason to use Altair Travel and Cruises for your next travel plans, I can't think of what it is. It was not the kind of thing they love doing. Of course, they don't like it when anybody's travel is interrupted for any reason, but they are equipped for it. And that is part of what they do so well, is they have the expertise to know how to get people around the roadblocks when life happens and airspace gets shut down and other things like that. 314-968-9600, altairtravel.com.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, inviting you to join me October 24th as we journey in search of Iceland's magical Northern Lights with Colette. We're going to experience the land of fire and ice with a rare opportunity to search for the Northern Lights, one of nature's most dazzling light displays. We'll see steaming lava fields, massive glacier-sculpted mountains and valleys, not to mention thundering waterfalls. We'll travel the Golden Circle and walk on a black volcanic sand beach, plus relax in the warm, mineral-rich water of the Blue Lagoon. This and so much more. Colette handles the details from flights, meals, hotels, and local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss out. Join me and call our friends at Altair Travel, 314-968-9600, or go to KTRS.com to learn more. That number again, 314-968-9600.
It's cold. So bring the heat with Dogtown Pizza. Warm up these winter months with one of 13 different flavors, from the new SOB, sausage, onion, bacon, to a 4-meat or veggie. Or how about the all-star this time of year? I'm looking at you, hot chicken. Heat up those ovens and warm up those bones with a hot Dogtown Pizza, and tell Jack Frost to take a hike. These cold winter months are upon us, so take a trek to Dogtown. Dogtown Pizza, of course.
Are you prepared to take advantage of all the new changes in the tax law this year? Hi, I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group, and the author of the #1 best-selling book on taxes, Keep What's Yours. This year, we're celebrating 50 years helping area businesses get their financial plans in order, reduce their tax liability, and stop overpaying their federal and state income taxes. I'm also launching my newest book, Keeping What's Yours, the Strategic Tax Planning Guide for the One Big Beautiful Bill, in January. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act made permanent many of the tax rules from the Tax and Jobs Act signed into law in 2017, but also added many new benefits to both businesses and households. My new book, Keeping What's Yours, the Strategic Tax Planning Guide for the One Big Beautiful Bill, outlines the details. Get your copy today at capitaladvisorygrp.com or find it on Amazon.
Elevate your home with stunning lighting from Metro Lighting.
Shopping for a gorgeous chandelier for your dining room?
Need a new table lamp?
Or lighting your entire dream home?
Our certified lighting specialists are here to help.
Locally owned with 6 convenient locations.
An amazing selection of lighting for any style and budget.
And all at the guaranteed best price.
And did you know?
Metro Lighting is a great source for furniture, art, and home decor too.
Metro Lighting.
Full of bright ideas for your home.
St. Louis Auto Show returns January 22nd through the 25th at the Americas Center. Bring the whole family and explore hundreds of new vehicles from the world's biggest automotive brands. Then, get up close and personal with the coolest, most expensive rides ever created at the $1 Million Mile. There's even something for the kids with our Mid-America Chevy dealers, Sponsored Kids Zone. Get your tickets today at stlautoshow.com. Kids 12 and under get in free. That's stlautoshow.com.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
All right, welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Joining us now, my neighbor in the Highlands, Sarah Fensky from St. Louis Magazine. Sarah, good to be with you. I have not gotten a fruit basket yet. I'm sure it's on the way.
Frank, I don't know where you got your intel. I'm not your neighbor.
Wait a minute. So you're not... Oh, my goodness. You know what? It was the Business Journal, not St. Louis Magazine. I screwed that up. Oh, gosh.
That's okay.
Where are you located, by the way?
Owes you a fruit basket. You would be more aware of this if they had come through on their obligation.
That's right. That doggone Business Journal. I know if it was St. Louis Magazine, I would have gotten something. All right, we got a lot to talk about, including the chief, Robert Tracy, who makes a fine wage, $175, and then another $100, so it'd put him up to $275. And now he's going to make another $100 from the University of Missouri in St. Louis, but another $100 is going to be taken away. Please explain.
Yeah, so when Chief Tracy came here, there was a very unusual arrangement where the St. Louis Police Foundation, that's a local nonprofit, they were kicking in $100,000 a year to supplement the salary given by the city. And this was widely believed to be part of how we were able to lure him from Wilmington, Delaware. Otherwise, the city's salary might not have been competitive with the job in front of a police chief. Let's face it, not easy to be the police chief in St. Louis. So he comes here thinking he's going to get about $275 a year. Had, I think, a very successful tenure. People are happy with how he's doing. The mayor wants to retain him. The state takes control of the police department. They want to retain him. What happens strangely is that the St. Louis Police Foundation says, yeah, we're not going to kick in our $100,000 anymore. So Chief Tracy made it known he would be looking for a side job, something to supplement the income that he lost out on when the nonprofit stopped supplementing his salary. And my colleague Ryan Kroll was able to break the news yesterday of exactly what this is. It is a $100,000 job at UMSL, where he's going to serve as an educational consultant.
Who can live on $175? I mean, he's going to starve.
I feel like I can live on that, Frank. I'd happily live on that. But he's done a really good job as chief, and I do feel for him in that he was brought here with this certain salary. And, it came from a strange place that a whole bunch of money was coming from somewhere other than the city. I guess he could have maybe known that wouldn't last forever. But I get that once you're used to doing a job for a certain amount of money, you're like, wait a minute, I'm going to keep doing the same job for $100,000 less a year. Now at UMSL, I think the question is, how much work is he going to be doing for this? Is this just kind of one of these ways of keeping the chief happy, or are they going to get 6 figures worth of work out of him? I think time will tell.
Yeah, I'm curious about what exactly he'll be doing there. I know they have a nationally renowned criminology department, so I guess he could be teaching in that department, but I mean, hopefully they don't have enough security issues that it requires $100,000 worth of consultancy. I'm curious, do we have any more details on exactly what he'll be doing?
Yeah, we do know that he will be working with that criminology department, and eventually he'll start working with the business school as well. He will not be there to consult on how to make campus more safe. He'll be there to teach future officers how to be better officers. You know, that criminology department at UMPSL is incredible.
Yeah,
they
it really
do
is.
really good work. And I feel like he's somebody they could learn from. So if this is not just a no-show kind of job like City Hall used to be famous for back in the day, and he'll actually be there instructing these young people, I think this could be a win-win. It does, it's certainly an eye-catching amount of money at a place where most full-time professors don't make that.
Yeah, the other thing is, the Kim Gardner revelation about going to be a nurse, that did not sit well with St. Louisans, and I think a lot of people are going to think the same thing.
Sam Page continuing to practice medicine.
Yeah, exactly. Good thought.
I would somewhat argue with that. I think the reason that the revelation that Kim Gardner was in nursing school was such a huge deal, and it was a huge deal, was that at that point her office was in tatters. And everybody who'd been defending her was like, look, she's trying. She's giving this her all. When people found out she was devoting a significant amount of time to something else, it was like, wait, what's going on here? Chief Tracy, by all accounts, seems to be doing a really good job, is very proactive, and things aren't falling apart. So I don't know that this is going to hit on that same level. Kim was also very secretive about it. He's made no secret that he was going to explore this sort of thing, and they've given the public details. Kim wouldn't talk about that even after we got confirmation from SLU that she was enrolled there, so that didn't help either.
But the whole thing, too, is that consultant job. Like, Jill, wouldn't you love to become a consultant for life coaches? And wouldn't you love, Sarah, to become a consultant for any publication? I'd love to become a consultant for sportscasters. No real responsibility, and you make $100,000 on the side.
Yeah,
everybody wants to be a consultant.
Yeah, I'd love to have a meeting on that later today during happy hour, since even though the Wall Street Journal is telling us nobody's going to happy hour, we can figure out our next business venture here on that in consultancy. I was a little surprised, Sarah, just as a side note, it's been reported over the last couple of days that our mayor, Kara Spencer's moving. That's not surprising. She's, going to move like everybody else is. But her salary was rather significantly lower than the police chiefs. And I thought that was interesting. She's got a pretty big job to be making $10,000+, I think, a year less than he does, and no opportunity, at least as far as I can tell, to have that separate side gig, at least while she's in office. Do you find that to be true as well?
Yeah, it's not a huge salary, but let's face it, nobody decides to be mayor of the city of St. Louis because they think they're going to get rich. Like, you have to really have a passion for that kind of job. And there are the perks that come with you're one of the most high-profile people in the city. And so, obviously, we've seen there's no shortage of good people who want to run for mayor. I don't know that we need to adjust that salary so much as that it seems kind of backwards in our society that we have some people running around getting like $5 million a year to be CEO. And then you can take on some of these incredibly thankless jobs like police chief and mayor, and that's just on a different scale. It feels like something is out of whack.
So what do you make of, which was expected, Eric Schmidt saying Trump did a good job in Venezuela and Wesley Bell saying he didn't, but Senator Josh Hawley staying mum?
Yeah, to me, the Hawley's the most interesting part of it. I don't think anybody's shocked by either Schmidt or Bell saying what they said. Hawley's cagey guy. He's a very strategic guy. And the way I'm currently reading his motivations is he wants to line himself up to become the alternative to J.D. Vance. Because let's face it, J.D. Vance is heir apparent for Trump at this point. And so when it comes time for, to vote for president in like 3 years from now, I think Hawley's trying to figure out, how do I get these disaffected conservatives, Republicans, evangelicals, how do I make myself the alternative to maybe a scandal-plagued or overreaching administration to sort of set himself up as, I'm the clean government guy, or I'm the guy who'll do this but not that. And I think that's one reason he stayed quiet. That's just my theory.
I was probably more interested in this than a lot of other people because it's right down the street from my house. But the Immaculate Conception St. Henry Parish in the city's Gate District neighborhood, of course, famously in the last year, well known because it was the rectory that was home to none other than Pope Leo during his stint in St. Louis. I hadn't realized that there was a couple of local entrepreneurs that were looking to convert it into a business venture. That, I guess, fell through, and now something new is coming. Can you enlighten us, please?
Yeah, so this is just kind of a tease. I can tell you, I hope to report back in 2 weeks where I can tell you about what's happening now. They had some really exciting plans for this. I live in stumbling distance from this parish, and so when the Shoe Charts, who've done amazing work around town with Das Bevo, Boot Cat Club, other places like that, when they said they were going to open a cocktail bar there, I was like, oh, sign me up. I can walk home from this. They've now abandoned that plan, and that's in part because of the tornado. They're so busy dealing with the massive repairs that were necessary to their venue in North City, Boot Cat Club. They just don't have the bandwidth. They don't really have the cash flow. They needed to spin this out. They have found a good buyer who has some great ideas of what they're going to do here. And I am hopeful that all will be revealed to readers of my newsletter in just a few short weeks. So it should be in good hands, Jill. I feel hopeful.
Okay, good.
So Tony from G and Tony's is one of the great chefs St. Louis has ever known. And now he is selling it, and he's been trying to sell it for a while, to a guy who was a steel worker. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so this is a story. You'll have to go to stlmag.com to read this full story, because I think for anybody who cares about G and Tony's, it's worth it to hear from this new guy. His name is Joe Bergfeld. He's got plans to honor this legacy, to keep some of these dishes that people love at this, sort of landmark restaurant on the hill. But at the same time, he is going to make some changes. He's talking about, how do we make sure that this restaurant is able to survive to the next generation? So there's going to be a transition here. There's going to be a new name here, which I know that, there's maybe some regulars who aren't going to be happy about that. They're going to keep some dishes. They're going to pare back the menu. He's got a lot of interesting ideas, and I hope that's what it can take to shepherd this to the next generation.
Yeah, we have so many family memories of G and Tony's, and I hated to see it just completely go away. So glad that there will be at least be a restaurant carrying on some of the same traditions there. I think that's good news for a lot of us who like it. Hey, Sarah, we missed you while you were off on break, but you guys hopefully got refueled, because you've just been breaking stories and kicking butt and taking names since you got back. Per usual, we look forward to hearing more breaking news from you next week as well.
Thanks so much.
Our friends at Premier Heating and Cooling have a reminder for us. There's just all kinds of new information, medical data that shows us that the dry air in our homes is one of the biggest culprits. We're having a massive influenza outbreak here in St. Louis and around the country. People are really getting sick with it. And the bad news is that dry air, the virus can live in little tiny molecules in dry air longer. And so if you're in the same room as somebody else who is contagious with influenza, and you walk in there and the air is really dry, you're more likely to catch it than if you're in a room that has a humidifier. And we've talked about it on the show here before. Those room humidifiers you can get from whatever, Target and Walmart, they have their limitations. You have to really be careful. They can actually grow mildew if you're not careful. One of my friends who's an allergist told me after we talked about it last time, it's really better, if you can, to look at whether a whole home humidifier is a good option for you, because air that has a little more moisture in it doesn't tend to carry the viruses in the air. It'll drop it to surfaces. If you wipe off the surfaces, you're less likely to get sick. So if you've been considering whether the air quality in your home could be better, whether that's seasonal allergies and you really know you start suffering as soon as the temperatures warm up, whether it's knowing that you want to have more humidity-controlled air in your home, Premier Heating and Cooling is on the top of the game when it comes to the latest offerings and technology as it relates to air quality, and not just the temperature of the air, but the quality of it as well. Reach out to them today, premierheatingcooling.net, 636-916-1122.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90 days 10 to 15 pounds down. It simply works, and that's why I recommend it to all of my patients. You simply go online, book an appointment. You fill out a health questionnaire form. You get an appointment on our schedule. It's all telemedicine based. It's all done from your home. And then you meet with me or one of my nurse practitioners. And then after the 10, 15-minute consult, the medication is delivered right to your door discreetly, and you get started right now on your weight loss journey.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
We've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
John, what are you doing? Get in my car. So why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They're draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Oh, wait. You're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FULL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code FULL. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FULL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FULL.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They have over 20 franchises with locations in every neighborhood and have been your #1 choice for all your automotive needs for over 51 years. You can see their entire inventory, schedule appointments, and more at their website, bommarito.com.
So welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Jill was just asking about a new guy we just hired in our sports department. His name is Zach Parnes. He's from the Pittsburgh area, worked in Baltimore, 29 years old. He'll be on the air for the first time on Sunday. And what I told Jill is I really love a guy who's really appreciative, or love a person, I should say, who's really appreciative at all times. Thank you, and not in a suck-up kind of way. And it got me thinking, too, is that every time I hear an interview with Charlie Sheen, who I know has had so many flaws and made so many mistakes, but I've probably listened to like 10 of them, since he's made his comeback. And that's the one thing that jumps out at me, that anytime like Joe Rogan or Megyn Kelly or whoever he's being interviewed by, Bill Maher, and they say something nice about his career, well, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's such a great quality to have, attitude is gratitude, or gratitude is attitude. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. There's a connection, I think, to that sense of when people are gratitude. There's a bit of humility in that, and that's one of the best ways when it's not false humility. Like sometimes we'll watch stars and they'll be like, "Oh no, don't say great things about me," but it feels like false humility. The gratitude sort of is a bridge toward feeling like somebody really is seeing the humanity in another person in a connected way.
Yeah, and to take a compliment. I took a class at the University of Missouri in St. Louis with Father Lyons, who ran the Newman Center there, and part of it was how to take a compliment. And anytime Monique, who's not very good at taking compliments, dust it off or something, or maybe she thinks I'm not being sincere or I have ulterior motives, Could be a possibility. But I always say, Father Lyons, remember that. And so, boy, when somebody tells you something, boy, instead of saying, no, thank you, I really appreciate that.
Really, because I don't think you're very good at taking compliments. I think you brush them off when I give you a compliment. If I text it to you, write it to you, I think you can take it in. But in person, I think it makes you uncomfortable.
Oh, well, I'll work on that. I probably got a C in the class. But if some people are terrible at taking compliments.
Some people are terrible at it, right? What is the most common way you think people, they deflect, right?
Yes.
Dismiss it, pretend that it's not valid.
Yes, that's the biggest. Oh, it's nothing, so stuff like that.
Yeah, remember every time I mention that you have more Emmys than anybody else I know.
Shut
See? Just providing the laboratory to show that. I know. I mean, sometimes it is embarrassing when somebody says something flattering to you. It's hard to know how to take it. You do have to kind of pause because the first reaction is like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think I'm that good at it either. I don't know. You don't give me that many compliments, so it's hard for me to measure how that goes.
That is cruel. All right, we will take a short time out. When we come back, one of the most attention-grabbing movies we will ever review, Taxi Driver, with our friend Tariq Khan.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. We offer the largest selection of Amish-made furniture in the St. Louis area, plus quality living room furniture from Flex Steel and Smith Brothers. We carry top-quality mattresses from world-famous brands like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Chatham & Wells. Shop our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Bend and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
I'm Reed Millard, president of Lupton Millard Chapel of St. Louis. We've been faithfully serving St. Louis families for generations. At Lupton Millard Chapel, we understand it's the little things that make a big difference for the families we serve. A traditional church funeral or a unique celebration of life. Providing the finest in services and attention to detail has always been the hallmark of our family.
Lupton Millard Chapel, the leader in excellence since 1905. For more information, go to LuptonMillardChapel.com.
When you go and get your car washed, do you really care which car wash you go to? Yes, because not all car washes are created equal. Country Club Car Wash is the local family-owned and family-operated car wash since 1989. All these other ones that are popping up, they're all run by out-of-town hedge funds. Keep it local, keep it great. Touchless car washes, no brushes, inside and out. 5 area locations, Country Club Car Wash or cccwstl.com.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with a mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
The Big 550.
KTRS St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. Coast Guard seized 2 tankers today, allegedly transporting sanctioned oil out of Venezuela. One ship intercepted in the Caribbean, the other in the North Atlantic. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Capitol Hill with Secretary Pete Hegseth emerging after briefing lawmakers in a closed-door briefing on the mission to oust Nicolas Maduro and issued a warning to any country moving, he says, illegal oil.
We are in the midst right now and, in fact, about to execute on a deal to take all the oil. They have oil that is stuck in Venezuela. They can't move it because of our quarantine and because it's sanctioned. We are going to take between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil. We're going to sell it in the marketplace at market rates, not at the discounts Venezuela was getting. That money will then be handled in such a way that we will control how it is dispersed.
ABC's Mary Bruce has more on the White House plans for Venezuela's oil.
If accurate, it means Venezuela will be turning over $1.8 to $3 billion of oil. But it's unclear what Venezuela will get in return.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz responding online moments ago to reports of a shooting, saying my public safety team is working to gather information on an ICE-related shooting today. We'll share information as we learn more. In the meantime, Walz says I ask folks to remain calm. Today marks 1 year since wildfires erupted in Southern California, whipped up by fierce Santa Ana winds. In the days that followed, 30 people died due to the firestorm, and thousands of homes and businesses were destroyed. ABC's Alex Stone is in hard-hit Altadena.
Today around Altadena, where the Eaton fire burned, and Pacific Palisades, where the Palisades fire burned, there will be ceremonies and vigils for the victims, especially the over 30 people who died in the wildfires here a year ago. Today, many lots remain bare. There is still great trauma. There is anger in these communities. In the Palisades fire, a man is facing charges. In the Eaton fire, an official cause has not yet been determined, but Southern California Edison has acknowledged its equipment may have been involved.
You're listening to ABC News.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or pick some up today at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery. Are now available at Wegmans. New year, new you, new Nordic.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. Missouri lawmakers are starting their annual legislative session today. Budgetary issues are the main focus, with Governor Mike Kehoe pressing lawmakers to eliminate the state's income tax at the same time revenue growth is slowing. Members of the House and Senate already have filed more than 1,700 bills, ranging from putting limits on artificial intelligence to stopping solar power development in the state. Meantime, Illinois House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch believes there are more important issues right now than discussing plans for a new Chicago Bears stadium. Welch said the priority heading into the legislative session is bringing down the cost of living. He says talking about a new Bears stadium is insensitive to what real people are going through right now. The Bears announced last month that they are expanding their search for a new stadium that includes Northwest Indiana, after state leadership told them that the new stadium project will not be a priority in 2026. St. Louis County Council members are slamming County Executive Sam Page's latest request to put money from the RAM settlement toward the county's budget deficit. Almost every member of the council criticized Page's proposal to use more than $400,000 in RAM settlement funds for heating and cooling centers for the homeless and food for animals at the county animal shelter. Council members said there's money already set aside for those items and called the request political theater. However, they decided not to vote on the proposal until more information is received. The Missouri Department of Revenue is warning the public about inaccurate information regarding changes to Missouri vehicle registration requirements. Details from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The Department of Revenue says the false information is being circulated through some media outlets, most likely, they say, generated from artificial intelligence. The outlets are reporting that beginning this week, the state will no longer require vehicle inspections and will expand registration options, allowing drivers to select longer registration periods for vehicles. But the Missouri Department of Revenue says this information is not correct and that state law has not changed. But this is confusing to the public because similar proposals have been introduced in recent legislative sessions, but they never became law. They say this misinformation is causing confusion and inconvenience, and that you can find out specific and accurate information about vehicle inspections and registrations at the Missouri Department of Revenue's website, dor.mo.gov. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
Metro Transit expects a surge in riders during the U.S. Figure Skating Championships that are in downtown St. Louis this week. Metro officials say there will be additional resources to help fans navigate. This includes extra Metro staff during peak travel times to assist visitors with directions, ticketing, and trip planning. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florists, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. High Point Drive-In has closed 3 of its 9 St. Louis area locations. The owner said on social media, "This was the hardest decision we've made to date, but a necessary one, so we can show up better for our people and our guests." The closed locations are Baldwin, Edwardsville, and O'Fallon, Illinois.
And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. Wall Street right now, Dow Jones is down 174 points to 49,287. S&P 500 is up 7 to 6,951. NASDAQ up 114 points to 23,661. KTRS Sports SLU basketball travels to VCU tonight in one of their biggest A-10 games of the year. The Billikens have never beaten the Rams on the road in Richmond. Mizzou football was dealt a sizable blow with defensive end Damon Wilson's decision to enter the transfer portal. Wilson led the Tigers with 9 sacks in the 2025 season. KTRS weather today sunny, high of 62. Tonight cloudy, overnight low of 45. Tomorrow rain likely, high of 61. Right now we have 56 degrees. The time is 11:07. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
The University of Missouri-St. Louis is committed to providing top-ranked education. More than 80% of our students receive financial aid. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more and explore your financial aid options at more.umsl.edu.
Wow. Tariq Khan is here. This is our Back to the Feature segment. And what a movie in 1976. I think the best stat about it is that they paid Robert De Niro about $35,000 because he agreed to do this. Godfather 2 came out, became a star, but they went back to the original number. That's pretty crazy.
Right, yes. He probably could have made more as a taxi driver than playing the lead in Taxi Driver, right?
Well stated, yes. How about the significance of it and why this movie is regarded as such a outstanding film?
You know, I'll tell you what, Frank, I don't love violent movies, I'll be honest. And Taxi Driver, as dark and as gritty and as violent as it was, especially for that time frame, I watched it again for the first time in many years, and it really is a masterpiece. Really, I think sort of on two levels. One is the way that it takes you into 1970s post-Vietnam War New York City. When the city was just plagued with crime, and there were drugs everywhere, prostitution, and the portrait of New York City is so accurate, and every detail, the production design, and the shots of the decaying buildings, and the people walking around, and the way they treat each other, just a fascinating, look at New York City. And then, of course, how better to really depict New York City than by showing the life of a taxi driver. And having Robert De Niro, play this Vietnam vet who's now driving a cab at night, and the way that he sees the city and interacts with people and decides that he wants to, do something, some crazy things. The character is absolutely fascinating. And really, as a taxi driver, I think that was actually a brilliant way to actually show New York City during this really, chaotic time in the city's history.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of layers to the movie. There's the sort of the politicians promising the world to a rather disheartened populace. There's just this guy who obviously something went wrong in Vietnam, something impacted his way of thinking about the world. And yet he seems to have this almost ridiculously idealistic way of wanting to interact with, the beautiful woman, Sybil Shepherd.
Right.
It was really a career launcher in many ways. I mean, obviously, you just mentioned De Niro had already done Godfather, but this was kind of rocketing everybody to the next level of some of these actors. Is that true?
Yeah, no question. I mean, De Niro had won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for The Godfather Part 2, which, by the way, was kind of an upset victory. He beat Fred Astaire in The Towering Inferno, who was the overwhelming favorite to win. So De Niro was just brilliant in Godfather Part 2. But yes, Taxi Driver really established De Niro as one of the great actors of the 20th century. And what a performance. Al Pacino was considered for the role. Dustin Hoffman was offered it, and Jeff Bridges was considered. But Robert De Niro, I think he made Travis Bickle. And I don't think anyone else could have played it the way that De Niro did, and the way that he really got inside his mind. And as a viewer, you are just so fascinated because you're trying to figure out what is going on inside this guy's mind. And at the same time, it was never overdone. It was never forced. So it was never forced or overplayed. He did it just brilliantly. Of course, he would go on to have Oscar nominations for films like The Deer Hunter 2 years later and Raging Bull 4 years afterwards, for which he won the Academy Award. But De Niro was nominated for Taxi Driver, lost to Peter Finch in Network, but he was just genius as always.
So let's talk about the writer Paul Schrader, who wanted Brian De Palma to do it, and he gave it to Martin Scorsese. But I thought it was interesting in Schrader's life that he had previously had a nervous breakdown. He'd lost jobs. He lost his wife. I mean, in a sense, this guy is a little bit about Paul Schrader's life.
Oh, yeah, no question. And actually, maybe that's one of the ways that the character of the film works so well, is that Schrader was able to take, these elements, these defeats, these great tragedies in his own life and turn them into a film and show this character who has gone through so much and is dealing with so much. And I think really without Schrader's personal experiences, I don't think the film would have felt as authentic as it did. And again, for a film that's 50 years old, if you watch it now, it really does hold up in just, a really brilliant way.
Let's talk a little bit about the cast outside of De Niro. Jodie Foster, 12. She played a 12-year-old prostitute, and I believe she was about that age. Sybil Shepherd, who we mentioned, Harvey Keitel, Albert Brooks, Peter Boyle. He's an interesting side character in this. What did you think about those other performances?
Oh, yeah, all great actors, great performances, and really at the time, a lot of them weren't that well known. It was Albert Brooks' film debut. Jodie Foster was a child unknown at the time. Sybil Shepherd was coming off the success of, I guess, The Last Picture Show, so she was somewhat well known at the time, or becoming well known. But this film really did launch some careers of these actors. Jodie Foster was nominated for the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. She lost to Beatrice Straight in Network. But of course, Jodie Foster became a huge star. She went on to win 2 Oscars for The Accused and The Silence of the Lambs. And at the time, her casting, of course, was very controversial because she was a 12-year-old, playing a child prostitute, and she had to be there present for that final, climax, very violent climax of the film. And I think some people felt that was too much. She had to undergo psychological testing before she could actually take on the role. So that part, it really was controversial, but it paid off because she was dynamite. And again, it really helped to launch her career as well.
And she said in an article years afterwards that it was like amazing that De Niro was so obsessed with that one scene of her and De Niro in the diner.
Yes.
And he wouldn't stop. They just kept doing it over and over again and practicing and practicing. She goes, I'm good. And she's 12 years old telling Robert De Niro, okay,
right.
we're done here and stuff. Now, also I thought was kind of cool was the girl that was with her, the other child prostitute, actually was a child prostitute. She was like 14, and they had her on the set to give her an idea of what it's really like.
Really? Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the depiction of her as a child prostitute, some of those scenes where we see her, interact with others, it really was harrowing and almost disturbing in a way, to see that. But it was unbelievably, realistic. I think part of that was actually having an actual prostitute, there in the scene and, helping to show her what it really was like. So that was so well done.
Martin Scorsese said that shooting in New York when there was a heat wave and a garbage strike made setting the scene a little bit easier. As you mentioned, it's really the city of New York during this time is kind of an additional character in the film as well. What did you think about the ending? It's pretty controversial. Some people think that it didn't end in a way that was satisfying enough for viewers. It was trying to be too compelling. What were your thoughts on it?
I like the ending because I think, of course, the character, while, of course, he did, some bad things, and, of course, he was about to, assassinate, a presidential candidate, but the fact that he actually had, basically, saved this child prostitute, how redeeming, was that? And the fact that, in the film, the parents had reached out and wrote that lovely letter just thanking him for what he did, I think that really actually was, quite beautiful, actually. And I know that, in a sense, the character, after what he did, Clearly, he took the law into his own hands and probably should have been prosecuted because, you can't just do that. But I think as an audience, you're sort of rooting for him, that here's a hero. The New York City cops are not doing their jobs. Here's somebody who goes in there, he fights the bad guys, he rescues the little girl, exactly. And so, in a sense, New York City at that time, to see actually, a taxi driver come and do some heroic things like that, I think actually worked.
Well, it's conflicting because there is that element where he does change the direction of a girl's life, but he's a nutcase that, killed 3 people, almost killed a politician, and, almost killed himself.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. What about the significance of how graphic the violence was at that time? We probably haven't seen many things like this.
Right. I think that Scorsese, I think he wanted to do that because he wanted to make it realistic. I mean, I think nothing in the film felt, in a sense, cinematic. Nothing felt, staged. It all felt so real. And he wanted it to be authentic. And I think for audiences, especially at that time, to see this kind of thing, I mean, it must have been, I think, quite jarring. But at the same time, the impact, I think, it showed New York City for what it was, and it showed those violence, sequences like they would have happened. I think it really added to the impact of the film. And that's why Taxi Driver, by the way, it is regarded as one of the greatest films of the 20th century, 50 years after its release. It really is, I think, a masterpiece.
And did you read the person who has a very small role, who is the who he's giving, Robert De Niro's character is kind of giving a hard time to? She's the clerk at the Peep Show kind of porn movie theater. That actually was Diane Abbott, who went on to be his wife for a number of years, the actress and singer. It was kind of an interesting little tidbit. If you're just joining us, Tarek Khan, of course, our Back to the Feature segment we do twice a month, where he's a great movie buff and historian and takes us back to watch classic movies. 50 years since this movie, Taxi Driver, came out. Do you think it's that it changed the way that movies were made in terms of, we talked about this with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, what was okay to show on a mainstream movie theater screen based on what we had seen in the past?
Oh yeah, I think that definitely. I think that the film that it was, so praised for its, again, for it being so authentic. I think that yes, it basically opened the door for perhaps filmmakers and writers and directors to do films that were more daring and that were willing to show things as they really happened. I mean, again, look at some of De Niro's later films. The Deer Hunter and Raging Bull. Those films too, very gritty. And I think Taxi Driver, in a sense, kind of opened the door, paved the way for films like that to be made and to make those films authentic as they were as well. So.
Yeah. There's some really creepy moments in it too, like when he takes Sybil Shepherd on the dinner date, and they end up at a porn theater. You just grossed out.
Cringe.
And the whole realistic angle, I push back though, and people say, that's not realistic in terms of getting this woman with cover girl looks, this blonde bombshell, to go out with this taxi driver is a little bit different. But he is somebody that she's never met before, and he's so confident that there's a little bit of charm there.
Oh, right. I think maybe it's like sort of, that, the girl sort of, being intrigued by the bad guy. And here he is, this bad guy taxi driver coming in. And I think she was sort of intrigued by that, and that's why she gave him a shot. By the way, I read this. I don't know if it's true, but I read this, that he apparently, Robert De Niro, had asked Sybil Shepherd out, I guess, during the filming of Taxi Driver, and she said no. And after that, he would never talk to her again. I read that. I don't know if it's true, but interesting story.
It is. I think we do have to mention the John Hinckley connection here, too.
Course.
We've got a friend who listens is texting in that he became obsessed with this movie.
Right.
It was even shown in the trial where it was determined that he was, of course, mentally unwell, and so he was after attempting to shoot former President Ronald Reagan, but he became obsessed with the movie and particularly Jodie Foster.
Right. Yes. And again, he attempted to assassinate President Reagan in order to impress Jodie Foster. He was harassing Jodie Foster when she was at Yale. He was calling her. There are recordings that had been played where you hear her on the phone asking him to stop calling her, and it really was disturbing. Scorsese apparently was very, very distraught at the time when he learned about the assassination attempt, and the fact that Hinckley was inspired by Taxi Driver. I think he almost gave up making movies. He was so bothered by that. So of course, it's unfortunate that the legacy of Taxi Driver is, of course, in a sense, scarred by that incident. But regardless, it doesn't, I think, take away from the film. And of course, by the way, in show business, they say no publicity, is bad publicity. So in a sense, it actually always made people, I think, intrigued by Taxi Driver. So that's just the nature of show business.
And where does this rank in terms of Martin Scorsese films?
Oh, I think up there with Raging Bull and Goodfellas. For me, honestly, I would say it's my favorite Scorsese film. I mean, he finally won Best Director and Best Picture for The Departed, film which came out 20 years ago as well. The Departed in 2006, a great film, but I don't think even that film could really stand up to just the masterpiece that Taxi Driver was.
You are, of course, an Oscar aficionado. And this got 4 nominations, but no wins. Is
That's
that right?
Yes. Best Picture, it lost to, of course, Frank, your favorite film, Rocky. De Niro, like I said, lost to Peter Finch in Network. And Jodie Foster lost to Beatrice Straight in Network. Great acclaim for the film. I think maybe at the time it was really, too dark, too gritty, too daring to win any big Academy Awards. But still, the nominations were well-deserved. And actually, at the time, I think for a film like this, that was as dark as it was, to do so well with the Academy, that itself, I think, was a victory. And by the way, as dark as the film was, the cinematography, the score, the saxophone music, really, it was at times kind of dreamy, and it actually made it almost at times, it was fascinating, the dichotomy, where it was, as gritty as it was also so glamorous and so intriguing. So really just, I think, a brilliant piece of filmmaking.
All right, we have 3 great movies on the road, or on our calendar now. Tell us what's coming up.
Okay, so what we're doing, films, celebrating key anniversaries. A film celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. Jerry Maguire. We'll do that next time. Show Me the Money, right? After that, of course, another film which came out in '76, the same year as Taxi Driver, Rocky, which won the Academy Award.
Heard of it.
So I know you'll be happy about that, Frank. And after that, a film celebrating its 30th anniversary. Another Best Picture winner, The Silence of the Lambs.
Wow.
So
This
with
is
some
great.
great discussions ahead of us, right?
Yeah, I got to
Awesome.
gear up for that. Connor, have you seen Taxi Driver? I think you said you've seen it.
I did,
Recently?
and I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I think it's great. I think it's a great film.
Yeah, what was great? What made it great
It's
for you?
really gritty. It's a very I obviously I never lived in that version of New York, so I can't speak on the realism, but that's what it seems to be. I really like that. I don't know, they wouldn't make this movie today. So I would say I like that about that as well.
Yeah. Oh, if they did have to be called Uber driver, right? It wouldn't quite have the same
They would do that.
appeal, right?
Obviously, they wouldn't get a 12-year-old, which maybe is a good thing, but it's just different times.
Waymo driver doesn't quite have the same.
Exactly,
It doesn't
yes.
quite. Well, Tariq Khan, always a blast to have you. We hope that our listeners will be rewatching along for the next 3 movies that you've lined up for us, and always great to have these conversations with you. We look forward to the next one in 2 weeks. When you're looking for a great meal for lunch, guess what? 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery, they can guarantee you're going to have a great meal for lunch. How do I know? They care so much. They have new stuff on the menu all the time that's super fun because they like to get creative with the incredible barbecue meat that they cook. But they also love to give us the old standbys. You can always have a delicious guaranteed chicken, brisket, saucy rib sandwich, but then they'll do really fun stuff too, like smash burger tacos. By the way, if you haven't gone online and looked at the menu, it will make you hungry, so I do want to warn you in advance. It's worth it. Go to 3baybbqandbakery.com, check out the menu, and you can also sign up for their frequent visitor plan. It's a good one. It will definitely pay off. If you're somebody who goes there regularly, you should sign up for it today. It really is very good. And of course, if you're going to break that New Year's resolution and have something a little bit sweet, you can't pick any place better to do it. Rick and Carol Gross, the owners, love food. Carol especially is an incredible baker, and her desserts are just absolutely off the charts. Located in the Phillips 66 station at Clayton Road and 141, where the service bays used to be. 3 Bay BBQ and Bakery. Check them out for lunch, dinner, or catering today.
Over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler is where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. right there in Ladue on Clayton Road across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
Hi there, it's Julie Buck. I'm here with Jeff Zufall, the Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group, and he's also the author of the #1 best-selling book on taxes. It's called Keep What's Yours. He also hosts a radio show on the Big 550 Saturdays at 3. It's called Keep What's Yours. Jeff, it's a new year. What should we be thinking about in January?
Welcome to 2026. The holidays are behind us, and as a business owner, that means closing the books on 2025 and getting those W-2s and 1099s prepared to mail by the end of this month. As daunting as that might sound, it doesn't have to be. This year, we're celebrating 50 years helping area businesses get their financial plans in order, reduce their tax liabilities, and stop overpaying their federal and state income taxes. I'm also launching my newest book, Keeping What's Yours, the strategic tax planning guide for the One Big Beautiful Bill this month. Tax law changes mean now more than ever, you will want an expert helping you prepare for 2026 and beyond.
To learn more, give Jeff and his team a call at Capital Advisory Group at 636-394-5524 or go online, capitaladvisorygrp.com.
Hey friends, it's Dolly. You think you know my songs? Well, get ready to hear them like never before because I've got something really special lined up just for you. It's a brand new project that I'm calling Threads. My Songs and Symphony, featuring some of my greatest hits, newly arranged for symphony orchestra, and performed with a band of amazing singers and musicians. Ooh, and I'll be there too, on screen, to share with you the stories behind my songs. And I hope you'll be there.
January 17th and 18th at Powell Hall. Tickets available at slso.org.
It's cold. So bring the heat with Dogtown Pizza. Warm up these winter months with one of 13 different flavors, from the new SOB, sausage, onion, bacon, to a 4-meat or veggie. Or how about the all-star this time of year? I'm looking at you, hot chicken. Heat up those ovens and warm up those bones with a hot Dogtown Pizza and tell Jack Frost to take a hike. These cold winter months are upon us, so take a trek to Dogtown. Dogtown Pizza, of course.
The final stretch of your career isn't about slowing down. It's about getting strategic. Those last 5 years before retirement can define your financial future, from maximizing contributions and paying off high-interest debt to mapping out health care and testing your post-retirement budget. This is your moment to take control. At Pioneer Wealth Management, we help you connect all the moving parts. Real peace of mind starts long before your final paycheck. Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Pioneer Wealth Management and Creative One Wealth are unaffiliated. Life insurance professional. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal.
Want a song?
Surround my mind like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome back, everybody. Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy here as well. Really glad that you guys are joining us on this Wednesday morning. So we're expanding our horizons here on the Frank and Jill Show since basically because I didn't know any of the best songs on the best song list on the Billboard or the Rolling Stone. And so I decided I would dive in and listen to a bunch of these songs and pick some of the ones that I thought were pretty darn good that made the either most popular or best songs of the year list. So today's addition to the Song of the Day, otherwise known as one of the best songs of 2025, if you believe the people who rate these things, is I'm a Little Crazy by Morgan Wallen. Now, that's not your favorite genre in general, but I'm more middle of the road, I guess. I like some country music. I don't like all of it. But that song was kind of moving. I thought his voice really is good in that.
Is that considered country?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
He's about as country as you get, I think.
So that's the number one country song and the number one song,
It
period.
was in the top list of the top 10, in the top 10 songs of 2025.
What do you think that, in fact, Connor, you're the youngest here. like a top 100 songs, like what's the infiltration or percentage of country songs you think nowadays?
It feels like there's more. It feels like country has a bit of a wider appeal. I don't really care for it still, but I would say that was probably well known. Yeah.
I think that's true. And would you say in the 70s and 80s there was some crossover? Remember the Barbara Mandrell show that was pretty popular on TV in the 80s, or I can't remember if it was late 70s, early 80s. There was crossover that happened. Eddie Rabbitt, had songs that were in the 80s that were on both the pop charts and the country charts. But today it feels like generations of music listeners will cross over genres maybe more than they did, at least as I remember growing up. What do you guys think on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126? Are you a single genre kind of person? Do you only like songs from a certain era? Do you only like rock? Do you only like R&B? Do you only like country, or do you cross over? I'm curious what people have to say about that.
All right.
Quote of the day today. I've had a little bit of John Hamm on the mind. I've watched actually.
How's this any different than Monday at 11 o'clock?
Exactly. But he, were you a Mad Men fan?
I've never really watched the show.
Really? I think you would love it.
People keep telling me to go back. I may, yeah. So
I really do. I think you would. The combination of just the humanity of it. There's some of your favorite characters on the show are also quite diabolical, and you're like, I can't believe they did this. The period piece side of it.
Yeah.
The very attractive women side of it. There's a lot of things I think you would really like.
The
about
girl
it.
from The Handmaid's Tale, the woman, is in that.
Yeah, she's great.
She is so.
Her name
good.
is escaping me now. Elizabeth. But anyway, yeah, she's very, very good. So. In a recent interview, John Hamm was asked what Don Draper would be doing now were he still alive, and this is what he had to say. Yeah, he goes on to say, at the end of the show, he had this, kind of awakening where he supposedly came up with the ad campaign.
Don't spoil it for him.
Okay,
but
for a very popular ad campaign.
Of course, well, I don't have confidence he's going to watch it, but of course that the guy who did come up with the Coke I want to buy the world of Coke campaign was a real guy. And they talked he lived to see this show, and they talked to him about it, and he said, yeah, it was nothing really, it wasn't like that at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just a plot line in the show to sort of wrap
I know,
things up.
but by saying that they kind of connected Don Draper to a real guy, there is kind of a real Don Draper.
And created a false narrative.
Yeah, and created a false narrative.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I read that was somewhat true, that they based the storyline. Do you remember the part of the storyline where we find out that he's that he pretended to be somebody who died in Vietnam War?
Now you're really spoiling. Now you're really spoiling
the Korean War. It's multiple seasons of the series.
How many seasons did it go?
5, 6, something like that.
Yeah,
7.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see because there was a number of them.
I will say this: in one of the interviews we did, he holds that role in such high esteem. It's like, it's the reason he is who he is today. Without it, he doesn't believe he would be where he is. And I asked him, compare that with I don't know what role, and he goes, oh, no question. Don Draper is the most important thing I ever did.
7 seasons, which this was before the days of, the proliferation of all the streaming. It was appointment television, I would say, for a lot of people. It was pretty revolutionary. We never missed it. I thought it was really, really good. Be interesting though. I circled back around after I saw this interview and watched a little bit of one of the seasons. I was like, I wonder if I could rewatch it, or if it's one of those things once you experience it the first time. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, it's on HBO now. If you want to go back and watch it, some of the consolidation now is on HBO. So I still think it's great.
All right, some of the topics out there today. The one thing that you would wake up early for, and it wouldn't matter. That alarm clock goes off really early, but you're happy because you're going to do something you love. Thoughts on the movie Taxi Driver and some of other topics today.
Recycling. A lot of you guys weighed in on with some good facts on recycling that we'll circle back around to again that I hadn't realized. But as usual, you are the source of lots of great information for us on that as well. So yeah, lots of good conversations. Somebody else pointing out correcting me from something I said, which I think is very good. Correction is John Hinckley did shoot President Reagan. He didn't attempt. He did shoot him, obviously, and he attempted to kill him or assassinate him, I think is what I would have said more accurately. So thank you for catching that mistake.
Speaking of Reagan, his son, Michael Reagan, died yesterday at the age of 80. A conservative talk show host, was successful in that field and was unfailingly loyal to his father. Some of his other kids didn't agree politically with his father, but Michael was in step with his dad.
Yeah, and one of the things that he really helped usher in, there was a lot of discussion. It used to be sort of commonplace for people when they were describing children of whether they were superstars or others to describe them as the adopted son of.
Yes.
And he was sort of an early advocate and spokesperson to say this is an unnecessary differentiation. People who adopt children want a child. They are a child that lives within the family as same as everybody else. It's an unnecessary delineation of defining them. And it became it kind of changed the public's perspective on that. And we don't say that anymore. We don't say, generally speaking, they're the adopted child of. And I think that's a good thing.
One other thought on the John Hinckley thing, and a lot of people forget this. All they remember is Ronald Reagan getting shot and living. But Press Secretary James Brady was shot. I think he fired 6 shots. He got a service agent, a police officer, and then Brady suffered permanent brain damage and later, basically died from the injuries. And Hinckley is writing books in 2025 and being an artist. So, brutal.
Yeah, that was definitely. I remember the day when President Reagan was shot, like it was yesterday. I wasn't around for President Kennedy being shot, but it was just one of those days where you feel like everything is changing for sure. Capital Advisory Group, our friend Jeff Zufall, busy guy these days, as if he didn't have enough going on, serving so many of our KTRS listeners and so many other clients and customers in the St. Louis area, putting together a great radio show every week with Josh Gilbert, Keep What's Yours, which airs at 3 p.m. every Saturday. His last best-selling book on taxes. It continues to talk about the content of that, but he's written a new book. You guys have probably heard about that by now, Keeping What's Yours, available very, very soon, about the big, beautiful tax bill, otherwise known as the Tax and Jobs Bill, passed last year, which continues a lot of the tax changes that came from the first President Trump administration. And there's just a lot of stuff that the average person may go over their head. And Jeff wants to be able to help you with your money to make sure that you're not overpaying on taxes. And you say, well, he does it for his clients, but he also wants all of us, even if you're not a client, to have a better understanding of how you can make your money work for you. But I really recommend that you become his client, because when you have that one-on-one service, you don't have to be somebody who really understands the tax law to take advantage of his deep knowledge and background. CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com, 636-394-5524.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the...
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
Up at the dealership, people pause. Out comes good old trade-in clause. The perfect time of year to upgrade your ride. Trade in your car while the values are high.
Come see Big D the Trade Man at HW Kia of West County and upgrade your sleigh this holiday season while your old car is worth more than ever. Bring in any trade and get up to a $5,000 discount off any select new Kia in stock. Take home a new 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid LX for just $29,958, or drive off in a new 2025 Kia Sorento LX with standard third-row seating for only $29,670. And if you have a job bringing home $450 weekly, we have lenders that want to approve you today. It's the Kia Season of New Tradition sales event at hwkia.com.
On approved credit, not all will qualify, plus tax title license and $587 title and registration processing fee. 22 or newer trade. Negative equity refinanced and new loan. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Not all will qualify through KMF. $13.89 per $1,000. Offers not in combination. Expires 1/4/26.
Most people think if I name my husband as beneficiary, everything's going to be okay, and that's not necessarily true.
I'm Scott Garcia with Premier Estate and Income Planning.
What am I doing taking care of people after somebody has passed and all the mess that comes with that?
And I'm Jennifer Cermak, Chief Counsel and Estate Planning Attorney of Premier Estate and Income Planning.
No longer is the attorney the gatekeeper to your lives.
Let us show you how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and retire with confidence.
Having an estate plan could be the most important document you could ever have.
The Premier Income and Estate Planning Show. This Saturday at 4 and this Sunday morning at 7 on the Big 550 KTRS.
You've had all these great ideas about what to do with your outside space. Now's the time to take the next step and call Outdoor Living, because Pat Leahy and the gang at Outdoor Living have built a showroom, which is a great resource for you. You can go in and see all the products they have, the composite decking, the metal framing. You see, at Outdoor Living, what they pride themselves on is building it right the first time and never having to worry about it again. So they build it. You can enjoy it for the rest of your life. Outdoor Living, their showroom on Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, is a great resource for you. You can go and see all the different ways and all the different things they can do. Then they'll come out, they'll do a site visit, and in just a few short weeks, you will have the dream deck, fence, gazebo, pergola, whatever it may be. Outdoor Living right there in Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. 314-966-3325 or OutdoorLivingInc.com. Check out the showroom and take that next step. You'll love it. Outdoor Living or OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Bend and Doherty Ferry or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online at Bommarito.com.
Multiple people on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line saying they are not afraid to wake up really early, even 3 a.m. for a 5 a.m. flight if they're going on vacation or going to a beach. So kind of in the same line that I said as well.
I guess a vacation.
Will you work out in the mornings, but you don't get up as early as
No.
Monique is to go play pickle? Yeah. But you stay up so late.
Yeah. I just, even like pickleball and like Saturday mornings, there's a group. I don't want to get up that early.
But you could play at 8 a.m. sometimes. That's pretty early.
Yeah.
Do you have any friends? I have a couple friends who are at the gym at 5 a.m. They've been in the habit for years. It's just they say you get it up and early. John frequently wakes up at 5 and he works out that early as well. But the dedication of people to get up at 4 or 4:30 to be at the gym at 5, that is some superhuman self-discipline, I think.
We have a petite woman that lives in our neighborhood, and like when I'm getting the newspaper, say it's 7 o'clock every day, she's right in the middle of a long, like 6-mile run. And it doesn't matter how cold it is, she's out there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great.
Connor asked me a question during the break about what does it mean that the Cardinals are handing over the broadcast to MLB. So I just checked with Dan Caesar from the Post-Dispatch, who does a terrific job. Says that they would be produced by MLB rather than Main Street, the FanDuel Sports Network owner. They'd be expected to remain available on the places they were last season, cable, streaming, and some over the air. Several other teams have already gone that route because of the regional sports network mess over recent years. So we'll get to consume our Cardinal games. It'll just be a little bit different.
Well, same kind of thing as before, though, where you have to pay a fairly significant amount if you want to see all of them.
And that's really the problem is like they should just take control of it and start putting them over the air, which other teams and other sports have done, and I don't know if they don't want to for some reason.
Yeah, that's interesting. One of the other things that has been an ongoing theme about your question, what would you wake up early for? Grandkids seem to be motivating a lot of our listeners as well. Everything from driving them to school, because I love that time with them, even though it requires me to get up significantly earlier, up and at them earlier than usual. And how about this one? Get up early to go to my grandson's hockey games, which sometimes start at 7:45 in the morning. Yeah, hockey ice time is a real motivator for people to get up and at them early.
Okay, yeah. So I haven't found one that I would, and that kind of gets to me. I would, for some of Alex's early tea times or Brooks, that was never. I'd get up at 4 a.m. to drive to Iowa, to watch him play. Yes.
How about this one? Getting up early for European soccer is always worth it.
Sunday morning.
I actually do get up for that, so maybe
now.
I'll get up at 6:30 a.m. for that on a Sunday morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending.
Somebody else weighing in on our conversation from last couple segments ago with Tariq Khan about Taxi Driver from the 314. De Niro was great in Taxi Driver, as was Jodie Foster. However, and Scorsese's a huge winner, but Peter Boyle's role as the fellow cab driver was really a breakout there.
That is so wild seeing him, because I guess I only remember him in three things. Ray, Everybody Loves Frankenstein. No, I mean, what do you mean? Everybody else. Young Frankenstein, and then this one. And if you just saw like Everybody Loves Raymond, you see him here, you think, oh my gosh, it's just so bizarre seeing him like this.
He was good, wasn't he? As this
He's
kind of
great.
like know-it-all, but quirky overnight tax driver who just holds court in the diner every night.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, he was always going to be a character actor, because even as a young man, like De Niro's very handsome, Sybil Shepherd's beautiful, Arthur Brooks, who is not necessarily somebody I would consider a looker, is handsome in this. Peter Boyle never had looks on his side. We have to say that. Even as a young man in this, he was not a good-looking guy at all, but he had that something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, interesting you say that about De Niro, because Monique said, boy, I can't believe how attractive he looks. Because, you haven't seen him young for so long, and he just, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sybil Shepherd was a knockout.
Yeah, she dated Elvis. Do you remember that?
Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think she was around for that. I want to get to the point that you guys are making about plastics recycling, because I brought it up early that we're moving into the future. We may have a time when we aren't able to recycle them, and according to the people who take care of the data, up to 6% of only 6% of plastic is actually getting recycled. And lots of you are pointing out the problem with plastic and recycling of plastic is there's all kinds of different versions of it. Many of you pointed that out. And so some of them can be recycled and some can't. Part of it just makes the sorting of it a lot more expensive. And so it just ends up a lot of times that just is not practical. And so that's why a lot of it ends up in landfills forever. So we're going to have to scientists need to come up with something as a plastic replacement that is stable enough to store stuff, but not stable enough to be there centuries later in landfills, because that's not good for the earth in any way, shape, or form. Hey, we have more coming up on the Frank and Jill Show right after these messages.
It's Sarah Haynes from The View. Today, stronger immunity and better nutrition are more important than ever. That's why Eggland's Best gives you and your family more. Compared to ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best provides 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, all helping you to maintain a strong immune system and better overall health. Plus, you get all that farm-fresh, delicious taste. These are no ordinary times, so why choose an ordinary egg? Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, inviting you to join me October 24th as we journey in search of Iceland's magical Northern Lights with Colette. We're going to experience the land of fire and ice with a rare opportunity to search for the Northern Lights, one of nature's most dazzling light displays. We'll see steaming lava fields, massive glacier-sculpted mountains and valleys, not to mention thundering waterfalls. We'll travel the Golden Circle and walk on a black volcanic sand beach, plus relax in the warm, mineral-rich water of the Blue Lagoon. This and so much more. Colette handles the details from flights, meals, hotels, and local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss out. Join me and call our friends at Altair Travel, 314-968-9600, or go to KTRS.com to learn more. That number again, 314-968-9600.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping when you text IQ Bar to 64,000. Text IQ Bar to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's IQ Bar to 64,000.
The Big 550 is here for you. To voice your opinion, chime in on the subject on air, and talk about whatever you want, it's the 9 a.m. open hour with McGraw.
Hey, McGraw, I don't agree with you all the time, but I respect your opinion.
He wants your feedback
Girl, I love your 9 o'clock hour. You listen to everybody.
and interaction.
McGraw, I love your 9 o'clock hour and how you interact with the listeners.
If you can get a word in edgewise. 2 ways to get in touch. Text at 84126 or call in at 314-931-5877. The 9 a.m. hour with McGraw. It's all about you on the Big 550 KTRS, where St. Louis comes to talk.
All right, welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Tomorrow we're going to have our weekly special brought to you by our good friends at Kuna, been around for over 100 years. The restaurant, it's an interesting one, Marconi Mercado. Brian McBride, who is the son of maybe the greatest soccer player ever from St. Louis, Pat McBride, is the owner. He's going to be here. It's a really unique concept because it's one of the few restaurants that's a really fine restaurant in its own right, but in the same area, they have a market where you can buy these meats and cheeses and pasta. It's a cool concept, and we'll talk about it tomorrow with Brian McBride. So I got a text the other day, and this guy is a good friend of mine. He says, I don't know if you're going to go with this idea, but it's kind of interesting. Of people getting into the wrong cars, it's kind of a topic nowadays. He was at a church over the weekend, and there was a group of people talking about doing the same thing, accidentally getting into cars that weren't theirs, like recognizing, wait a second, that's not my big Slurpee cup. That's not what's hanging in the mirror. That's not me. And I'm wondering, I don't think I've ever opened up a car. I certainly walked to one. Don't you think everybody is like almost opened it up? How about you?
Yes, I have I may have even told the story here before, but a few years ago, I think I was driving like our Nissan Pathfinder Gray. There's about 10.7 million of them in St. Louis parking lots right now as we speak. And I was in a hurry, and I come back, and I go up to what I think is my car, and I start just like aggressive, because I had, like everybody, we've got the keys where once you grab the handle and open it, it just opens as long as your key is with it. And I start trying to open it, doesn't open it. I'm like, oh, great, the battery's not there. I start really shaking it, really rattling it, and trying to open it. And I'm just visibly frustrated. And I look up, and there is a extremely elderly woman. I'm talking like in potentially 90s, kind of hunched over, looking at me with pure abject terror in her eyes, because she thinks I'm trying to carjack her and break in the car because I'm so aggressively trying to get into this car. Fortunately for her, it was locked, or I would have just hopped right in and really scared her to death. Hopefully not. But yeah, that was one of my more embarrassing, this is not actually my car situations.
Connor, have you done that?
I've almost done it. I've walked up to a car that I thought was mine, and I think I even got to the handle, but then I realized it was not, in fact mine.
Yeah.
I've never gotten in the car. That I feel like that's a bridge too far for me.
We've had a Tesla for about 3 years, and
humble brag.
Yeah, it's a humble brag. And one of the weird things about Teslas is the way that you open the cars from either inside or outside is so strange, because Elon likes to do strange design things. So I've been picked up occasionally by an Uber, and it's a Tesla, and I get right in, and they're like, you must have one, because nobody knows how to open the door from the outside because they're just weird to open.
What do you do? Do you have to like touch it first and then?
You have to push. There's no handle to grab. You have to know where to push on it. Same thing from inside. It's not like any other car to open the car. So 2 different times we've had friends in the back seat of our car when we're taking them somewhere, and they think they're opening the window of the car, and they actually accidentally opened the car door from the back. So it's a design flaw. I think they've improved it over time, but I always have to tell people, don't push that button.
The exterior handle too is a problem too, like when there's ice, right? Like because it'll just freeze over the handle, and you can't open it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you own a Tesla, you should have a garage, because it's not supposed to be out in extreme heat. It's like leaving your computer out in the sun to a degree, and in cold, it really diminishes the battery. So a garage is helpful.
Cars have a Batmobile opening with the door where it goes up.
Oh, the open up. Doesn't one of the Teslas open up?
Yeah, the Tesla Model X
I don't know
does.
why more expensive cars don't do that, because it's so cool.
You like that? You like the opening up?
Yeah.
I had somebody next to me at Trader Joe's who did that, and 2 people came up while she was trying to unload her groceries and asked her about it, and she was like, it's fine. It's a cool aspect of the car, but she goes, I can't tell you how much time I spend answering strangers' questions about this, because I'm in a parking lot and people always want to know how the heck. Have you ever gotten in the wrong car?
No, I've never actually got in it, but I've certainly walked up to quite a few over the years. And I'm telling you, I sometimes, like at Costco, where did I park?
Oh, Costco. I lose my car at Costco more than any place else. What is it about that? We're just excited to get the samples.
It's a humongous parking lot. There's a lot of opportunities to go the wrong way.
Yeah, and I think I'm just excited about what's going to face me when I get inside there, so I don't pay attention.
Like it. The world we're going to end. That's the building you want to be locked in.
I don't go to shopping malls all that often, but I now have to really pay attention when I go to a shopping mall to where I've parked, because that's another place where if you come out the wrong entrance or a different entrance than the one you went in, you're gonna be in trouble.
Real quickly on Costco, have you ever bought the burgers, the patties that are frozen, and you do not like defrost them? You don't take them out and let them sit for a while. You take them right from the freezer, put them right on the. I cooked 2 this morning at like 7:30. It's just unbelievable, because most of the time with burgers you have to like defrost them or let them sit there for a while. So they're good.
Yeah, that's spoken like a man who didn't have to cook a ton of hamburgers for team parties and things like that for many years. Yeah, that's insider knowledge that lots of us moms have had for a long time. Really fun to be with you guys on the show. We have a great one lined up for you tomorrow as well. So make sure you join us for that and make it a great day, everybody. Carney and Max are up next. Julie's on vacation. And then you're in this afternoon, right, Connor?
I am.
With Heidi and Josh, because an important SLU game. Bob's going to be out covering that. Make it a great day. Everyone, you guys deserve it.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing: IRS problems.